2, 3. Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Big Porky here, the voice of hardcore boxing. Today I'm joined by Rocky, my faithful companion. If you want loyalty, get a dog. And he's licking the hell out of me because he wants to go out. And I'm also joined by my good friend from Essex, Matt Skelton. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm well, Russ, mate. Thanks for having us. I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. Sunny Essex, nice sunny morning, bit cold, but we roll on, we continue on, we keep grinding and just trying to enjoy life and hopefully start enjoying it a bit more from next week onwards. So.
Yeah. Why? What's happening next week?
Well, 12th, more restrictions are going to start getting lifted. So April 12th, yeah, and then roll on May when the pubs can start having people in properly. So start getting back to normal life. Start getting fans in some of these places, Russ. Because I'm watching football and I'm watching boxing over here, and the viewing is just lifeless without a bit of atmosphere. So
yeah, it's a bit. We're a bit restricted to what we can do, aren't we, at the moment? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it needs some energy back into it, and I think once people start getting back to normal and events start kicking off properly, then better times ahead, Russ. Better times ahead. So
yeah,
onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
What have you got for us today, mate?
I'm not going into office today because I've got somebody valeting my car here, so it hasn't been done for ages. So I'm not going in office today. I'm just going to work from home. I've got you on today, 10 o'clock, this one here. Ken from Ireland, 12 o'clock. Rico and Terry tonight. So I've got the A team out, and the big hitters. Only one missing, Simon, is it, and Chris Ward. But we've got all big hitters out today.
Save the best to last.
You what, mate?
Save the best to last, Russ.
Yeah, we'll have Terry. I'm gonna have to stick one of Terry's videos in members area soon because we can't show favouritism, can we? Have to even it out. I'll stick a Mickey Theo one in as well. We have Mick on once a week, don't we? Because he's my pal now, and he loves boxing. He's not hardcore, but he loves it, and obviously he likes to stick it to Big John Fury, fighting man that don't fight. Well hard.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah. Let me just, Rocky, do you just want to leave me alone? Because if you're not happy sleeping with me, you want it to maul me when I get up. Come on, let's get you out. Come on, I've got a bone for you. Big bone. Go on, see you later. There you go. He falls for that every time, that. Thinks she's getting a bone. I'll give him a penguin later.
He'll be all right.
Grab one of my pillars. Right, there's been some changes. Like I bought some pillars actually, and there's no pillowcases. Just like me, that innit. There's been obviously some big changes, aren't there, to boxing schedule lately. There's a lot going off. Are boxing fans happy with the board of control? If not, what's the answer? What do you think to that for a question?
I think the majority of them don't care. Once a dodgy decision comes, once a dodgy decision comes in, I think after a week or so, depending on the magnitude of the fight. If it's a big fight, then it will get highlighted more and it will get more mainstream coverage, so to speak. But I think regarding the dodgy scorecards for these normal Saturday night shows, I think after a week or so, it's swept under the rug. So I think the ball get away with it, really. So, and the media's to blame because the media don't highlight it enough, don't ask the questions to these specific board members that we need answering, and why aren't improvement getting made? But so yeah, to answer your question, I think only the hardcore fans, really, the ones who actually care for the sport, who's going to be there through thick and thin, are the only ones that really care. I don't think the casuals give a damn.
Will the lockdown? All right then. Well, I agree with you there. It's the hardcore fans that pick the sport up. You may remember years ago Barry Hearn bailing out of boxing once he lost his meal ticket. Chris Eubank, he couldn't foresee the effort he were putting in to break even on shows or lose money because he didn't have a big draw, so they bailed out, and that's what they'll do, Anthony Joshua. But moving on from that, the lockdown. Do you think? How many years do you think it'll take for boxing to get back on track? Because it's had a ripple effect, hasn't it, all the way down to amateur.
How long do I think it will take to get back on track? I'd say, depending when things go back to proper normal, which is in June, late June, I think it will take. I think it'll take the following June, and that's going by on the basis of no more lockdowns and things continuing to flow to get back to normal. So if we go back, say more restrictions come in the winter, say for example, then it's going to be even longer. But I'd say if no restrictions, I'd say from late June, I'd say it'd take about a year. I think we start seeing more and more shows, and hopefully these small lads, the ones that are still in the sport, will get their chance and break through. There's a lot of rough diamonds on them small walls compared to some of the Joss we've fed on the Saturday night show. And hopefully we don't lose these kids. I think we're going to lose some of them, but the ones that are people like your Richtons who come through small hall and people like that, you know, who are not straight away on Sky shows. That's who we want to see come through. But so yeah, to answer your question, I think it'd take about a year.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think maybe a bit longer than that actually, because there's going to be kids out there that are in the mid-20s and that were like 26 and they're maybe 28 now, and they have maybe not trained, and they're maybe a year off getting back to the condition they were in, and they're older and wiser and they're filled out now, and I don't know, maybe it might be a good thing for people to find their optimum weight instead of trying to cheat the scales all the time. Do you know what I mean? And cut corners and buy stripping agents, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We don't know. We're going to have to see, aren't we? It's going to be exciting times ahead, Matt. This is why we love this sport so much, Johnny.
It's bleak. I mean, it all depends on the backing of the fighter, the backing of specific fighters. A lot of fighters on them levels are part time and they work jobs, and you know, everyone's situation's different. So I mean, only few could have maintained their professionalism through this. So it's been a really, really long time, you know. So they're not talking about small coming back till September, say. So that's 18 months. That's a long time, isn't it?
Mm.
Since March March last year, they stopped putting on shows in that area. So.
And what small old promoter's going to want to roll the dice on a small old show if people are a bit 50-50 about going to boxing? Because if they were 50-50 before about going to the small old shows, because I know what numbers Dennis's shows used to bring in now for a lot of effort. I used to sit and I used to think, where are we going wrong here with these 2,500 seater stadium and 1,000 people there, or 800? So is that 800 in a 2,500 seater stadium in Sheffield now going to be 400? You know what I mean?
I think you've got to make the fights that are going to get people in that are really going to get their appetite going. And they're like, well, yeah, we really want to see that fight. it's going to have to be them sort of fights, because you can't be getting in Polish dustmen. It's just people just not interested, you know. And I get it. People had a long hour. Everyone wants to warm up, get the rust off, and that. But I don't think a lot of them sort of level fighters are going to get that luxury, especially when you got to get punters through the door. All these small promoters. Some of them might be well off, but they ain't going to want to keep losing 10, 20, 30 grand every time, are they?
No, they're not. Okay then. All right. Fury Joshua, how is the biggest fight in the sport of boxing so near to being made, but yet, really, if the truth be told, and if all parties tell the truth, it's so far away, isn't it? How can that be? How? Where are we going wrong in this sport that we love so much? What's the answer, Matt?
I think we're letting promoters. I think mainly Eddie Earn. I think we're letting promoters just basically just talk, and people not asking questions, the proper questions back. So they're just getting a license just I don't want to swear. Do you know what I mean? So just talk nonsense without. Do
you mean manipulate the media? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, they ask certain questions, and there's no follow-up certain questions, especially when they know that the people that are interviewing and asking these questions. I'm not just talking about the YouTube outlets. I'm talking about Sky Sports as well. You know, really asking, well, look, what is going on here? What's the problem?
Yeah.
Because listen, when it does happen, we know it's going to be the Middle East. I don't think it's never going to go China, is it? Let's be honest. No. It's never going to go China. It's never going to go Australia. Yeah. It's not going to go to any of them places. Yeah. So like, cut that nonsense straight out. We know where it's going to. We know what part of the world it's going to go. We know that they want to sports wash and pay a ridiculous amount of money on it, because the people who are going to pay them that sort of money, they're not going to see a return.
All right, then
so they might get a bit. They might get a few quid back, but like, yeah. I just the questions. I'll tell you what though, Russ. Yeah, if this fight don't happen next year, right, which we're skeptical about, there's going to be a massive backlash on fans now, because you've got even the casual fans who are expecting this fight to happen next. They're honestly expecting, and everyone's anticipating an announcement. And then if Joshua and Fury go and fight somewhere else, then it damages the sport more and more. It damages the sport more and more and more.
What about this? 8th of March, Eddie Earn came out 8th of March and said, this is this year, we're speaking to people in 7 different countries and over 20 different companies, organizations wanted to put the fight on. So 7 countries, 20 different outlets want this fight. Now, this fight were announced over 10 months ago, 2-fight deal. There's no date, no venue, no country, no nothing. So what narratives can this dig up now? How many more lies can they tell us?
I don't know if you can tell any more lies. It comes a time when you've got to put up or shut up. To know what, like, we're Conor Ben's fighting Saturday night, so obviously Eddie's going to be doing a bit of media and whatnot. So I mean, yeah, regarding that, there's going to be more questions coming his way. What's going on? I mean, how long does it take to make these sorts? How long it seems these fights take? There's something wrong, because other fights that are as big or bigger than this, with this sort of magnitude, they end up getting done. But if things stay quiet for a while, then boom, you see an announcement. Every time you see a Mayweather fight, that sort of magnitude, boom, it just go quiet, and then bang, there'll be an announcement. When this, I mean, we've got told this got agreed last year. So It's just endless lies. And, you know, what we now, 14 months Tyson been out the ring. It's going to be a point where if the fight does happen in July, then, 16 months out the ring, it's a long time. But I suppose, Russ, to be honest with you, they're going to want to get him when he's had a layoff, because there's probably the best chance they've got to win. So it's the optimal time to fight him. So everything's strategic, innit? Everything's strategic and thought out and calculated. But yeah, I mean, well, listen, when I was speaking to you the other week and we was having a chat and offline and that, and I was just saying, look, I'm just sick of it, because I'm just sick of I'm sick of all the nonsense and that. Just listen, I don't care about who's first, whose name's on the poster. You don't care. We just want to see the fight. Just want to see the fight, you know. So, and it comes down to more Hearn and Joshua, because at the end of the day, Fury's already give us a couple of big fights against Wilder. He's fought one of the big hitters, and Joshua hasn't done that. So,
okay, then here's a curveball.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts?
I think they're all, well, you know what my opinion is on them all, don't you? Once you tell a lie to me, anything else you say is no good. And I've had that philosophy all my life. So sometimes you have to hang around with people that come out with massive whoppers, but I don't mean to say you have to be their mates. But I just think that once Eddie Hearn turned around and said, it's not about the belts. We might just put all the belts in the bin and just fight without belts. Belts are not important. Well, belts are important this weekend, aren't they? For you know, it's Conor Benn, isn't it? Going to fight for some trinket belt? What's the way of going for English and British and Commonwealth? You know, he don't want to fight that Chris Jenkins, does he? So belts are obviously important to Conor Benn and his sponsors that he's got, because as long as he's got a top 15 ranking and he's undefeated, he's quids in. And that's all it's about. It's about money. They talk legacy, but it means money. Dylan White, I've got plenty of footage of him on my computer here talking legacy, but really, he's not even fought for a European, and he's now heading into his 7th pay-per-view, and I'm told he might even be out in August. So, you know, people are chatting a load of rubbish, but think the opposite. For example, I've got something here on my phone here. Let me just show you this here. Let me just show you this. This is what you need to do in boxing. Because I'm one of them people, me, I make a mental note of things. Where's his phone here? Here we are. Right. This is a press release. This is Dennis. Right? I'm not hammering Dennis. This is just boxing as a whole. Dennis is in Dubai, and he's got contracts out there with aerospace and Rolls Royce. So he's gone out to Dubai for a bit of a jolly up. MTK main man. I'll not say his name on here. Bother me anyway, but he sent a Rolls Royce, so Dennis has gone to see him. Right, here we are. MTK Global and Dennis Hobson set to revitalise Yorkshire boxing. June 18th, 2018. I think I picked Dennis up from airport when he come back from there, or took him to airport, one of those. So that's 3 years ago, yeah. Dennis hadn't put one show on with MTK, not one show. Now that's June 2018. That's what boxing is. It's a load of grown men that are insecure, chatting a load of crap, spinning stuff for the sake of talking. I call it shit talkers. That's what boxing is. It's full of shit talkers, and I don't have that in my company. People want to chat shit, they go home and chat shit. Don't chat it in my company, because I just go, whoa, don't be coming out with that near me. Same as I don't put up with any of that. People walking about me with the trousers around the knees and the boxer shorts, top of boxer shorts showing. I don't put up with any of that carry on. I don't have shit talkers in my company, but that's just one example. I could tell you another 20, but I won't do one here. But that is just nothing to what goes on in the sport of boxing. People sit in their houses on their mobile phone and look at what bollocks they can cause in the day to other people in the industry. And that's just how it works. If you were to go to Steffi Bull's gym now and he's in that gym, he'll be on one of his spare phones, causing a load of problems for other people in the industry. It's delinquents, isn't it? It's a load of delinquents trying to outdo each other, mate. And you have to see through it for what it is. It's a load of people that are insecure, chatting a load of shit. And the good people in the sport who want to get on, your Mick Ennis's, your Steve Goodwins, people like that, they're hampered by the other people. You know, your Eddie Hearn with all his bot accounts and all his little, you know, Nancy boys who hang around him, and your Steffi Bulls and people like that, and other delinquents that are in the sport that spoil it for everybody else. Because boxing, I believe, is from the heart. There's nothing more. And this is what Carl Froch told me once. He says to me, you're out there on your own, Porky. You're in that ring. You've got to have skill, strength, ability, mental toughness. You can't expect your mates to jump in if you're having a tough night. Only person that can save you is your corner at referee or yourself by quitting, and then you never live it down, do you? So boxing, there's nothing more purer than boxing than a man testing himself against another man. There's nothing more better than that. It's you're out there on your own, aren't you? And if you've not put the time in the gym or the fitness, you will be found out. So it's not like at football where you could be losing 2-0 playing crap and somebody else could score an hat-trick in the last 10 minutes and save your bacon. If you're losing in boxing, you go to hospital, don't you? You see where I'm coming from? So for a sport that gives so much and the participants to put themselves through hell, we've got the other side of it. You've got people like Eddie Hearn and other people, I'm not going to mention names, but saying that not fights are not going to happen. I mean, could you imagine Man United saying they don't want to play Real Madrid in Champions League final or something? Where have we got now? We've got Joshua and Fury. We're going to get to the stage if it happens where they're arguing about who walks out first or what colour shorts they're wearing. Could you imagine that with Real Madrid, Man U, or Liverpool, Man City, or something saying we're not going to play? We'll play Peterborough or something in Cup, but we're not playing you in Champions League. This is boxing. We've now got to the Olympic final. The creme de la creme. Joshua against Fury, two Brits for the heavyweight championship of the world. Let me just say that again. This is the heavyweight championship of the world, the greatest prize in sport, not Formula One, not football, not cricket, 2020 or ice hockey, NFL, basketball, baseball. The heavyweight championship, Matt. Two Brits who don't like each other. No matter what they say, they don't like each other. And you've got that many people trying to get the snouts involved to get a piece of action that it's not happening, is it? And do you know what? I'm tired of it now. I'm tired of going on about it because we're being lied to, mate. Everybody in the industry knows that Anthony Joshua hasn't got the style to beat Tyson Fury. Anthony Joshua knows that. He's a boxing historian. Robert McCracken knows that. Trust me. Robert knows that. Max McCracken knows that. Richie Woodall knows that. All them trainers up at Team GB, they know that as well. Joshua can surround himself by all these technicians and padmen and all that. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, there's just him and Fury in that ring. And he knows that Fury's got his number. And Fury knows this. So we're going to have Eddie Hearn keep spinning the narrative and spinning it and spinning it and spinning it until there's no narrative left to spin. And then it'll all just peter out. But they're going to try and take the moral high ground of the politics in the sport and blah, blah, blah. And look, trust me, mate, they don't want this fight. If Eddie Hearn wanted this fight, it'd have been done. Like you just said, he's speaking to 20 people, didn't he? 20 people want to put this on. So who's best offer and why ain't it done? We're going round in circles and being lied to, and that's what this sport is. One big lie. Jane Couch told me about this 6 years ago, and I went, yeah, well, we'll see, won't we? Because I were a bit like, wow, this is amazing. And I think after the first month, I thought, God, is this how it's going to be? But by this stage, you're hooked, aren't you? You see where I'm coming from? But I just think that I don't think it'll happen at all, mate. I just don't think it will. I think it could be a Manny Pacquiao Mayweather one when it goes on for years, and then they servers it up when they've milked every single cow. There's no left to milk, and then they put it on. But I don't think it'll be as big then. I don't, mate. I don't know what to make of it all. I think there's too many characters involved. I mean, let's look at all the side issues. We've got Usyk and Joyce, haven't we? Right? Why aren't they calling the manager of the WBO? Why don't they just say, look, Anthony, you've got to fight Usyk. That's your manager. You've got to fight him. This needs putting to bed. But they can't do that because Frank's got one fight deal left with Joyce, so he's still going to want a bit of action, isn't he? You see where I'm coming from? So there's that little outlet. Then we've got the Tyson Fury Wilder situation, right? They're saying they've got a third fight. Tyson's saying, no, it ran out because of COVID and this and that. They're saying, yeah, we've still got a valid contract. It goes on after COVID because the COVID weren't in the contract or whatever. So this is what I propose. If they're the main two stumbling blocks, why don't Joshua just fight Usyk, get him out of the way? Fury just fight Wilder. You beat him easy both times, so you tell us. Well, go do it again. Get it out of the way. Get yourself a few quid, and let's get the Joshua fight on. Joshua's going to fight Usyk in a mandatory, but Eddie will want a rematch clause. So if Usyk beats him, they're going to have to rematch again. And it just goes on and on and on and on, doesn't it? Then you've got Dylan White queuing up for WBC, but he should be nowhere near a mandatory slot for that. I don't know how they're going to work that. He's number 6 this morning when I checked. And these little subplots are what's stopping it. Everybody knows Usyk's got the style to beat Joshua. Do you agree with that?
100%.
Right. So would Joshua be stupid to take that fight? He would, wouldn't he? But they could quite easily let Usyk and Joyce fight for it with a contract that says the winner must fight the winner of Fury Joshua. But Fury Joshua, they want 2-fight deal. So they're just throwing obstacles in front of everybody. And I've gone through it all here. There's about 17 little different scenarios where I've seen fights not happen because of it. So there's 17 little scenarios. But yeah, these bozos, and that's what they are, isn't they? Utter whoppers, zoomers, whatever you want to call them. They're putting out statements saying it's a done deal, 2-fight deal, and it's done, and this and that, and signed, sealed, delivered. And why would you do that to human beings, to boxing fans? Football fans, right, don't get treated like that because they wouldn't have it, would they? Would football fans put up with this? They wouldn't, would they, Matt? So why should I? And it's left to people like me and a few other people, Terry and his friend Martin Theobald, is it on New Age Podfather, and Rico, people like that, and Asylum lads. There's other people, Ultratech, and there's other YouTube outlets. That it's left to a small minority of people who were known as gimps and whatever people want to call us, the establishment and geeks and all that, but it's left to us to speak out about it and spread the word. Now, if we don't do it, nobody else will. These people are just going to walk all over everybody, aren't it? Do you think for 1 minute that Eddie Hearn cares about boxing fans, yes or no?
No, of course not.
Right, there you go. When he goes back to his Mock Tudor mansion in Ingleston at Stock in Essex, when he goes back to that and he sits there in his Georgian mansion with his Rolls Royce outside and his little wifey and his kids and the little Range Rover and the goldfish and the Labradors, whatever. Do you think when he's sat there pouring his son a glass of red at night that he gives one hoot or cares one iota about boxing fans or the sport of boxing? No. These people care for themselves and they care for money, and that's it. And he doesn't do mates, right? He does not do friends. If you think Eddie Hearn does friends, go speak to Dave Allen or Lee Purdy, because they had to find out the hard way, and O'Hara Davis. These people don't do friends, they do money. And they do lies and manipulation and dominate. They want to dominate at everything they do, mate. And I'm just about up to here with what I hear. Every single day I hear something, or people send me something. I'm like, we're going around in circles here. We've got the biggest fight in the world two Englishmen, and they can't get it off that line. All these big hitters, we've got MTK big hitter. They're supposed to be billionaires, aren't they? Then we've got Eddie Hearn. He's supposed to have $1 billion war chest. We've got Frank Warren with all his experience. Adam's supposed to be worth $500 million. Eamon. There's all these people involved. They're all trying to outfox each other and outdo each other, aren't they? And rip each other off and all that. When all fans want to see, we just want to see the fight, don't we, really? I just want to see the fight, me. I want to see it happen. But like I said, it's so near, but yeah, so far. I don't know. I mean, look at it like this, right? I don't want to go rabbit on here. We're all saying Tyson Fury is the best, aren't we? And he's walking around with a goat hat on, greatest of all time, right? Tyson Fury has got 3 wins over world champions, former champion Steve Cunningham, who was shot to bits, a former cruiser, stepping up to heavyweight. He gave Tyson Fury nightmares in, mate, nightmares. Dropped him, it were a life and death. Tyson beat him, so well done. His other 2 wins are Vladimir, 40-year-old, in his 68th fight, and Wilder, 35-year-old, after a 5-year reign. First one were life and death, and second one, yeah, he stopped him, but that's Tyson Fury's CV. That's it. That is it. Joshua, he's beat Charlie Martin, Povetkin, Vladimir. Vladimir was 41, wasn't he? Povetkin, 39. Charlie Martin, worst champion ever. Parker, doesn't engage. And Ruiz, fat as a pig. Michelin man who knocked him out first time. That's it. So that is it. That's his story, Joshua's. He's been protected as well. So you're telling me that these two best heavyweights in the world, this must be the most pish, poor era ever. Ever. It must be a worse era than when Larry Holmes and Mike Tyson were running amok from 78 up to 1990. That 12-year period were very poor, wasn't it? This must be worse than that era, because I'd take people out that era: Tim Witherspoon, Pinkland Thomas, Michael Dokes, Bonecrusher Smith. I'd take people out that era. Ken Norton, he fought Larry Holmes, didn't he, when he first won belt? I'd take them lot to run over some of these in today's era. Maybe Ken Norton might not be big enough to mess with Tyson and Joshua, but the others, he'd deal with the other. Deal with Dylan White, wouldn't he? Ken Norton, fry him, wouldn't he? So is this a piss poor era? And are these people, Joshua and Tyson Fury, have they put themselves on a pedestal on social media because of the followings they've got and the things that they do outside the ring? For example, Tyson Fury's never defended a belt. You know that, don't you?
Yep.
Never defended a belt, but he's a goat. Walking around with a goat hat on, I'm a goat. Never defended a belt. Joshua got his belts because Tyson got banned, didn't he, for drugs or whatever it were. So Tyson gets banned for drugs. First belt they took off him were political. Rest of belts were because of drugs, wasn't it? Drug ban. So Joshua got the belts by default. So I'm not saying Tyson's a fraud because he beat Vladimir and he beat Wilder, didn't he, in the back gardens. But Tyson, really, for me, glasses are full. And as regards Joshua, I think he's got to be the biggest fraud ever, and a manufactured fraud to ever be an heavyweight champion, don't you think? Am I right? Am I wrong in thinking this? Is that hating on Joshua? But, you know, the guy's been manoeuvred and manufactured, and they're even doing it now with Usyk fight, aren't they? By rights, Anthony Joshua should be saying, look, I need to be fighting Usyk, Eddie, and get this mandatory out of the way because this is not working. This is it. What's going on? I don't know. You tell me, Matt, what do you think?
All right, you give me a lot there to digest that we can talk about.
I'm raging.
All right. Let's all right, go on. I'll touch on the football fans. We see when Sky tried to do football pay-per-view, we see what football fans thought about that and what they've done about that. We've seen no more pay-per-view, yeah? Football pay-per-view's done. It's never going to work. I don't care what anyone says. It's not going to work. Football fans won't have it. Customers won't have it. Yeah, I'll touch on that. They won't have it, and that's the reason why the sport is where it is right now, and will continue to be, and it won't be because these fights are not happening. regarding, I think Wilder with his contract with Fury, that Bob Arum that has come out and gone on record in the last week. He's gone on that barbershop. If you listen to that barbershop, Bob Arum goes on there and he says it's going to an arbitrator where a judge has got to decide with the contract if this fight happens again, if there's a financial penalty he's got to play, if this Joshua Fury fight goes ahead. So I think that's a massive problem. The judge might turn around and say, "No, listen, you've got to go and fight him. You are in that fight. You've got to go and fight him."
Are you on about the Wilder Fury trilogy?
Yeah.
Just let me just tell you something here, right? Peter Fury, right? When Peter Fury and Mick Hennessy, right, a Mick's lawyer, when they took on Vladimir, right? Vladimir, Burnt Bond, Tom Loeffler, Shelley Finkel, they had teams and teams of lawyers, right? And they nearly sent Peter and Mick round bend with it all. Now, these people are experts in their field. Shelley Finkel's been doing this since Mike Tyson days before he'd even had a loss. Now, these people are experts. Burnt Bond's a billionaire, mate. They're not daft. Everything is designed to break you down. But to be fair to Mick and Peter, they stuck it out and they got the winning against Vladimir, didn't they? But Shelley Finkel, let me tell you a little story about Shelley Finkel. When Frank Warren said we're going to put Caballero on and Tyson on December 5th, do you remember, on pay-per-view?
Yep.
Right.
Yep. What's going to happen?
Shelley Finkel instructed lawyers to get in touch with Arum. Arum told Warren, can't do that. Since whenever have we ever had Frank Warren back down from anybody? We haven't, have we? Frank Warren, he's from the, I'm not saying he's from the streets. He's from a council estate in Islington, but Frank Warren don't let anybody take liberties with him. Nobody takes liberties with him at all, mate. He's got a long memory. So I always commend anybody who fights his corner. He's done it the hard way, so you've got to give him credit, Frank Warren. Frank Warren pulled that show. Now, I went back on my computer and had a look. He's never, ever done that in 40-odd years of promoting. Do you know that? Never done that. And that fight would have been his 40th celebration. You know, that's where he were having it as one of the pay-per-view. It's 40 years.
40th anniversary of promoting, weren't it, when he first started promoting?
Yeah, because he did that first show at Bloomsbury, didn't he? Had them two American guys on, didn't he? And blah, blah, blah. But Bloomsbury Hotel, whatever, in London. But point I want to make is Frank Warren's never done that. So when that happened, everything I've been saying since February, and what I heard through people who know what was going on, everything I'd said, I thought I feel vindicated here now, because if there were any doubts in my mind, it was usually when I'd seen Eddie Hearn pop up saying, "No, it's happening." I'd think, "Oh God, I'm going to look a right mug here." Well, I'm not. I feel secure in the fact, because when Frank pulled that, I thought, yes, I'm going to be proved right here from what I'd heard. They've got problems. Tyson Fury's been parked up now. He's in his 15th month now. His dad can shout and scream all he wants. He ain't fighting anybody, Tyson. He knows he's parked up, because it's not chess, it's checkers, mate, this. And these people, they play for keeps. Now, he's got to go fight Wilder, or they're going to have to pay money. Simple as. Now, for some reason, he maybe don't want to fight Wilder. Maybe it might be risky. Maybe Wilder might catch him and put him to kip. I don't know, but it's a bit like with Joshua, innit? He don't want to fight Usyk because he could get schooled. But sometimes in life, you just have to. AJ Hobson said this to me once. Sometimes you just got to come out of your comfort zone, Ross. And I think Tyson's got to go out of his comfort zone one more time and beat Wilder. And Joshua's got to test himself against Usyk, an Olympic gold medalist, WBSS winner. He beat Joe Joyce up as well, didn't he? Joshua's got to go face him. He's got to face his demon. Tyson's got to face his. Like, Tyson didn't face Vladimir, did he, in that rematch? Well, he's now got to go face Wilder. You've got to overcome what, and if it don't happen, it ain't meant to be. If Tyson gets beat or Joshua gets beat, they don't come through. Well, that's just sport, innit? That's just the sport of boxing or sport in general. But why we have to have this shenanigans and trying to hide them, people trying to pull moves and this and that? Why not just stick to what you all agreed and just stop all this lies and constant? You know, another thing I'm sick of as well. I'm sick of people coming on IFL and Boxing Social and having an opinion about what's going on and spinning their own narratives, getting their own selves in mix. The bottom line is what we said from day one, Matt, that Wilder's got to fight Fury, Joshua's got to fight Usyk. Let's tidy it up. And what do you think?
Yeah, I didn't know to that extent that he sent the lawyers in, but obviously you're only going to know that if you know people what's going on behind the scenes. And let's be honest, that fight was. If people were talking about that fight, that fight was probably done, and he obviously they got wind of it just before it started to be announced, and listen, Tyson wanted to fight. Do you know what I'm saying? So
let me tell you something about
boxing.
boxing.
Shelley Finkel hasn't done one interview with anyone.
They've kept the powder dry because they're sat behind a piece of paper like that saying, well, let them crack on with it. Let Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, let them do what they want, because as soon as they do it and they issue it, a press release saying these are going to fight blah, 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 they're just like Dr. No. They just push a button and that's it. That's what happens. They're in no rush, because while ever they're not in a rush, Fury's parked up in it. He's probably going stir crazy. Tyson may go in stir crazy. But let me tell you this. You know, boxing contracts, right? I've seen a lot of boxing contracts in the last 6 years. The thickest one I ever seen were a Frank Warren one, 45 pages. But I've been told, right, that Shelley Finkel and Bernd Bont and Vladimir's lot, they were sending Mick and Peter Fury contracts that deep, and it were mind-blowing what they were sending them. And then they've got to pay people to comb through it all. This is how it's all done. And it's the dark side of the sport, mate. Two fighters just want to fight, don't they? But and really, you've got to feel for Tyson, to be honest, because he's like a pawn in the game, isn't he? And he's parked up, can't denote. And sooner or
he's not even saying anything, Russ. He's not even saying anything. Yeah, he's coming out giving interviews. Yeah, and he's coming out giving interviews saying Wilder might be my next fight. Wilder might be my next fight. So he's not. He just wants to fight. He just like he probably wants the Joshua fight really badly, mate. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, why wouldn't he want that fight? Do you know what I'm saying? So, and you know, it's frustrating because I just want to listen. I want to see fighters fight. I don't care what they get paid. I don't care all that nonsense. Just make the fight and just tell us what's. Be honest with the people who are supporting the sport and say, look, there's contracts there. We can't make it happen. You know. Listen, Joshua turned up to Chisora versus Usyk. Yeah, right. He didn't just turn up just to be a spectator, did he? Do you know what I mean? He's turned up to watch Usyk fight. Do you know what I mean? Because he knows possibly that it's a massive possibility that he could have to fight him next. You know, so.
Let me tell you this, mate. You know Usyk, he never even broke a sweat in that fight. It was like a sparring session to him, wasn't it?
I thought at times Chisora pushed him, but just through his presence in it. I'm not talking about technically, Russ. I'm just talking about just laying on him and just his physicality. Do you know what I mean? But
to be honest with you, I think
I'm not saying the fight was close. I'm not saying the fight was close, Russ.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, you mean when they were close up, he pushed him back and stuff like that. Yeah, well, he just got 3 stone on him, hasn't he? Point I want to make is Chisora is stronger than Joshua in clinches, mate. He's stronger. Joshua's big and hollow in clinches. Chisora's a lot stronger and a lot powerfuler. And Usyk, he couldn't do not wheel. He was like trying to catch Willow the Wisp, wasn't it? He couldn't get near him, mate. It was a schooling of all schoolings, mate. And Joshua's looked at that, I think, and thought, that's an hard night for him, because he knows he's not going to be able to nail him, doesn't he, Usyk? And he knows he's going to get hit back. Now look at the fighters that Joshua's fought here. His best wins. These are world champions he's beat. Charlie Martin, he got the belt because it was Tyson, and it took off him. And the opponent, he fell over and hurt his knee, didn't he? So he was gifted the belt. Povetkin was 39. Vladimir were in his 42nd year. Parker didn't engage, never went for it. Ruiz fought as a big Michelin man. It just gets worse, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It gets worse.
It comes back to the point. It comes back to the point you just made about the eras, about what sort of era. I mean, listen. I think Tyson Fury would have done. I think he could have given like people like the legends, the people like the Lennox Lewises. I think he could have given him a decent fight. Whether he wins or not, probably not. But I think he probably lives with them. But it's different eras. But it just goes to show you that he can come back after 2.5 years after a drink and drugs binge and massively overweight, losing that much weight, and then can basically be competitive with the most feared fighter in the division. Do you know what I'm saying? It shows you how weak.
Here's one for you.
Pardon?
Does Usyk beat these versions of the people that Joshua fought? Does Usyk beat Charlie Martin?
Yes.
Does he beat Povetkin?
Yes.
Does he beat Vladimir?
Yes.
Does he beat Parker?
Yes, easy.
Does he beat Ruiz?
Yes, he does. I think he just about. It could be a difficult fight, but yeah, he does.
Right. So if Alexander Usyk beats all them, right? They're Joshua's best 5 wins, yeah. So if he beats all them, Joshua will know that as well. He'll be like, oh yeah, he beats all them, and I'm in a hard fight here. And if I fight him and I don't win, the Fury money's gone or whatever. So why don't I just pick up fights, earning millions, fighting other people? Because they'll try and navigate around it. That's why they've thrown Joe Joyce into the mix for that, because they're hoping that Joe might be able to pop Usyk's balloon. And this is another problem I have with Sam Jones, because why can't Sam Jones stand up for his fighter, send a legal letter to WBO and simply turn around to them and say, fucking gone to bed now, that. And just say, look, I want to fight, we want to fight for full belt, not interim belt. Why can't they do that?
I don't think they're in the position to do that, Russ, to be honest with you. I think Usyk's the only one. Usyk's the mandatory. He's got the right. Joyce is just number 2 in the rankings. He's not the actual mandatory. The mandatory is Usyk. Usyk's got the right to say to WBO, look, what are you doing? Is this fight going to happen or not?
No, but Sam Jones should be beating drums, shouldn't he, for his fighter Joyce to say, well, look, if Joshua's not going to fight Usyk, we need to be fighting Usyk himself. Joe Joyce, my man, against Usyk. But Usyk took step aside money, and Shane McGuigan said. So if Usyk's took step aside, he's happy sat back in it. But how much is there a time scale on this step aside money?
Yeah, well, you can't take. The thing is, you can't take. There's no step aside money if the fight is not announced or it's not happening, is it? There's not. It all boils down to Joshua and Fury, doesn't it? So if the Joshua and Fury fight don't happen, then Joshua's got to fight Usyk. Why is Usyk going to fight Joe Joyce when he could just go straight to Joshua and fight him for more money and just a real title? So Usyk's just waiting around, waiting to see if this fight actually comes off, which it don't look like it's going to. And then why would you bother fighting Joyce? It's no point of fighting Joyce. You can go straight to Joshua, is there?
No.
All Joyce is Joyce's number 2, hoping that belt gets vacated and then he gets his shot.
Okay then,
Matt.
So
it's just a waiting game, isn't it? But go on, mate.
I'll ask you this then. Out of Joshua and Fury, who do you think is not wanting the fight out of the two of them? Do you think Fury wants it, or do you think Joshua wants it, or Fury don't want it, or Joshua don't want it? Who don't want the fight, do you think?
Are we talking about the fighters themselves, or
who's the biggest shithouse out of pair of them who don't want the fight? Who is it who's shitting out of the fight out of pair of them?
you're gonna single out one, you have to say probably Joshua.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. But his mouthpiece, Eddie Hills, 4-0 Iceman from Billericay, 3 by way of. He's going to come out and say total opposite. But like I've just said to you, there's 17 permutations that can stop this fight or is stopping it happen. Now, out of these 17 issues, they're not going to speak about these issues in their interviews, are they? It's like, we know about these issues because we study the game, but why don't they come out and tell the fans? Because then the fans would say, well, why are you making announcements saying it's a done deal when there's all this going on? I think what's happened is they wanted to start the ball rolling last summer, right, to keep boxing on everybody's lips, and they've had to keep the lie going. But 10 months down the line, that lie it's become massive, hasn't it? And it's too much for them to carry around now because basically the game's up in it with fans. The fans are not stupid, are they, Matt?
No, well, we're not. Some fans. I can't talk for all fans, mate, because we know how some of these fans are and some of these fans behave, but we're not. And we know I think we're a bit more wiser to what we get told.
All right, then. Chisora Parker. What do you think to that?
No, not really interested. It's like a loser leaves town, isn't it? It's a loser leaves town. It don't really get my juices flowing. I probably prefer to see Katie Taylor and Nurses Jonas top the bill. To be honest with you, Russ, it just don't really. It's no fan wants this really. No fan wants this. You know, it's just something that Eddie Earns talked about, and he's now delivered. You know, it's a platform for Joseph Parker to look half decent against someone whose best days are well past it.
Okay. Well, Eddie Earn did promise us his best ever card. He said it was going to be a whopper, a bonanza, and headline it. You've got Chisora with 10 losses and Parker, the stinkinator. You know, he just stinks arenas out. Whenever I go anywhere and I can smell a fart, I always look around and think, is Joseph Parker near me? Because that's the first thing I think of. You know, I used to think that before Lawrence Okoli put a good performance in. I think, is Lawrence Okoli in here? Because I can smell shit. But now I look for Joseph Parker, but then I find out that he's living in Morecambe at Tyson's. So, Joseph Parker against Chisora. No, that's not a pay-per-view fight. It's yet another pay-per-view with no world title fight on the line. I have a problem with that. And Dale Nichols, my man, my voice of hardcore pay-per-view, has a problem with it as well. But
see this Chisora Parker fight. It just boils down to one thing, Russ. The fight has not got no meaning.
no.
My cousin said this. My cousin's like a casual, yeah. He's a casual fan, whatever. We're not all hardcores, are we? But he's like, he turned around to me and he's like, where's the winner? Like, there's no relevancy for the fight. Where's the winner going to go? Like, it's not for a belt. It's not even to fight for a belt. Why is this main event? Why is this fight happening? Why is it pay per view? It's coming from a casual's mouth.
Yeah. All right then. Last couple of questions. Frank Warren, is he heading for Skid Row, or is he already on Skid Row and he's just papering over the cracks? What do you reckon? Have we seen the best of Frank now, or do you think that he's on his last legs? Because if BT Sport don't work with Frank, he's going to find it hard to get a TV deal, isn't he? Because he's been everywhere, hasn't
he? I think he's paving over the cracks. I think he needs the Joshua Fury fight to happen, sort of put some money back in the coffers. Because he'd be getting a slice of that cake. Don't you worry about that. You already know that anyway.
But is Frank's whole boxing life going to be based upon what Tyson Fury does next? Is that where Frank's heading now?
Well, when that's your biggest earner and that's the person who brings in the most money, then yeah, I mean you need your big earners out performing, and Tyson Fury being out the ring for this type don't do Frank Warren no favours, especially when all his other big hitters or it's the people that he's building or has built are getting beaten. So, I mean, all the money that he's stuck into Yard, if Yard loses again, he loses his rematch versus Lyndon Arthur. I mean, it ain't the end of the road, but it's not looking good, especially at Yard's age. I mean, you got Joyce there, but Joyce ain't someone who's proven to sell out arenas. So where is the next big thing? I mean, am I missing someone? I don't think I'm missing no one. So yeah, I think I was thinking they're just paving over the cracks, and I don't know if BT get out of the sport. Maybe Frank goes back to Sky. You know,
Can't imagine that. Frank next
well,
every week with Bean.
stranger things have happened, Russ. And he's got, listen, it's not like he don't know people there, is it? He's promoted there before.
Imagine Bean and Frank. Yeah, well, Frank, Bean would say something like, great to have Frank Warren back. We go way back, don't we, Frank? Frank will be like, yeah, we do, mate. We go way back. You two-faced, no good, wrong. And Bean, old Rumpelstiltskin. Okay, then, moving on then from the adventures of Tintin. Rob Tebbett's just put something out on here. Somebody just sent me. Rob Tebbett. Khan Brook. I'll read it to you. I think I sent you it, didn't I? Full saw. Would you like to see Khan versus Brook in the future on Boxing Social? What are they? What are they promoters now for people like, you know, people in? Are they promoting people's stuff? What's they doing here? What's Rob Tebbett doing there? They're supposed to report on boxing. They're not supposed to put things like that.
I think it's
Would you like to see
Social magazine
in the future? Full story linked at website. What planet are they on? Who wants to see Khan versus Brook? What would that be? That'd be like us wanting Joshua Fury, you know, when they're 40. That'd be like that, wouldn't it?
Do you know what, Russ? I don't really want to see it anymore. The fight's done. I didn't want to see it 2 years ago, so I definitely don't want to see it now. But what I would say is there's enough gimps out there, right, that will pay to watch that. But I definitely don't want to see it at welterweight either, mate, because you know Kell Brooks, as you put it, weak as a kitten at 147. So I don't really want to see it, but.
Well, he's got.
I mean, if Khan wants
boiling him down, hasn't he?
Khan wants another payday though, and I don't think they don't. He don't want to get fed to some up and coming person. So he's got no one else left except for someone like Kell Brooks, and Kell Brooks ain't announced no retirement or anything like that. So I mean, I probably can see it happening, to be fair, but I don't really care. It's not a fight that don't mean anything, does it?
Amir Khan's got enough on his plate with that monstrosity that he's built in Bolton that does like weddings and stuff like that. He's got millions involved in it.
Lost millions in that, mate.
Got about 12 million tied up in it, and he needs another 3 or 4 to finish it, apparently, from what I need.
Yeah.
He's got his leg in now with it. So he's got begging bowl out now, hasn't he, for another fight by the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, you see, he's just done a reality thing on the BBC, and he's lost a lot of money on that, and he's trusted a lot of people, wasted a lot of money on that.
I'm not going to say too much on here, but let me just say, I'll say one little thing. You know, when you get to that kind of wealth, it ain't the hangers on all the time who are bleeding you dry. Sometimes it's people very, very close to you. There might even be family members that are lifting your leg. So we'll leave it at that, shall we? But we'll finish off on this then. I'm just going to come straight out with it. Is Jamie Moore out of order putting Carl Frampton in ring with that herring at weekend? Yes or no?
No, I don't think he is, because I think and I think Carl Frampton was always going to do the fight anyway. Probably Jamie Moore maybe not wanted the fight, not if he's going to say that or he's not going to say that. come out and say that is another thing. But
Yeah, but Jamie Moore he came out and said, and I quote, "Best camp they've ever had, stronger, faster, quicker than a speeding bullet. Eating kangaroo meat with ketchup sauce." Well, he may not have said about the kangaroo meat and the speeding bullet, but he said it was his best camp ever. Now, so if that's your best ever camp and that's your performance, after 30 seconds, me personally, somebody who studies boxing and I've done for years, I looked at it and I thought, mismatch. I said it before, but after 30 seconds, I was like, what's happened to Carl Frampton? Shell of a man, wasn't he? Fleshy, no snapping his punches. So if that's a fantastic camp, what sort of camps is Jamie Moore running? What they have it? What is it? A jolly up?
Right. Do you know what the sad thing? Do you know what the sad thing about that fight was? Watching that bus fight is that you remember the Frampton of 3, 4, 5 years ago. The footwork, the in and out footwork was a pleasure to watch. The way he was in and out of distance and his feet and just his ring IQ. And obviously he's still got his ring IQ, but his body just couldn't do it no more. And look, he's 34 years of age. Yeah. His best weight is a super bantam featherweight. I mean, I think that's someone who's not even or might have done very little doped or hardly have doped, and that's the results. At them weights, you're ancient at them ages, and that's just boxing, really. I think.
Well, why I look at it,
no.
Well,
it was a featherweight. It was a small featherweight against a lightweight, mate. Really, because Herring's really a lightweight boiled down.
You know what was sad about it? The sad thing to see, and no, not sad, painful to listen to. Tommy Coyle coming out making excuses. See, Tommy Coyle's a retired fighter, isn't he, on Jamie Moore's watch? Martin Murray, another one. Dave Allen, another one. Now we've got Frampton. It's like a retirement home for fighters, isn't it? Jamie Moore's outfit. What do you think? Is that what happens when you take kids on that you've not had from scratch? You get people put on your lap. What do you do? Just put them through mincer, wring out as much as you can out of them, and then throw a towel in and say, "Hey, you need to pack in." Is that where boxing's heading now? Hey.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't know. He's not had Tommy Core. He's been with Tommy Core a while though, but obviously he's got Martin married from Oliver Harrison, and obviously got Rocky Fielding and all that. And he's had
Fielding. He's another one. He's finished, isn't he? Is he retired now?
He might as well be. He might as well be Russ, isn't he? You know
what I mean?
Let's be honest.
Like retirement home, isn't it, for boxers? It's I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if that's where you go to. Most people go to an old folks home, don't they? But if you want to retire from boxing, well, you go to Jamie Moore and they'll retire you, won't they? That's how I look at it. To me, I'm not hammering. Am I being a bit harsh on Jamie Moore here?
Maybe a little, Rusty.
If I don't say it, no one else is gonna. Cause well, they are saying it, but they daren't say it on camera. They're like me. Do you know what I mean? Nobody dares say a word because they want access to Jamie Moore. Jesus.
I'd like to see him take someone really from scratch and then take him.
Not going to do, are they, when you're getting people on your lap and you're getting your cut a decent money? They don't want to put the yardage in, do they, with people and build a stable, do they? And people can ring up and say, "Oh, we're going to send so-and-so over to you. He's already won a British and he's world ranked. Do you want to take him on?" "Yes, please, Bob." Like Blockbusters, isn't it? "Yes, please, Bob."
All right. I suppose so. I mean, just before you go as well, just let's talk about this. This Wasserman and this Sauerland thing. How's it going to play out, Russ?
I personally think that they'll fall out. I do. They'll fall out, mate. It's just boxing, isn't it? I hope they don't. I'm already hearing that old Barry Earns had his nose put out a joint with what's going on. So I don't know, but maybe it might put a little spanner in works for Edward's little operation. I don't know. If anything gives Edward a bit of an ulcer, I'm all for that, mate. Let me tell you. Evening, Eddie.
We Russ, we need some fresh blood. We need some fresh blood promoting on
Mick
these Sky
Hennessey's
shows.
just signed over 9 people in the last 2 months, and he's got a Channel 5 deal. You know, so and they're backed by big power brokers. Channel 5 now, they're owned by Viacom, aren't they, in America? So they're going to be big players in boxing. So I'm really, really, really pleased with Mick Hennessey. I like Mick Hennessey a lot. Spent time with Mick. He's a lovely boxing bloke. Don't even drink, mate. Don't even drink alcohol. He likes his scran light, but he don't drink. But I like Mick, and I hope Mick does well. But there's more to boxing than Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. There's more to boxing than them. There's Mick Hennessey there. Dennis Hobson and Steve Crump, they're going to be doing an app, I've been told. I'll believe it when I see it. But they're going to be doing an app, this app that's coming out, so you can watch their show. So that's good if that comes off. So you've got to try, aren't you? There's people trying out there. I think Dennis has still got Eurosport in tow as well. So, you know, there's everybody's having a go, aren't they? Frank Warren will end up back on Box Nation, though. Trust me, mark my words. Remember, you heard it.
Box Nation's still going, Russ. Still hanging in there by a thread.
There, won't he? He'll end up back on there full time, won't he? Because that's his plan B, and it once he's rinsed what he can out of BT. And I don't blame him because boxing's an unforgiving sport. But I just see big changes happening. I see Frank Warren and Tyson Fury in court in the next 2 years. I see them going at it in High Court in London. And I see Frank falling out with BT Sport. And I see Tyson going with Eddie Hearn. That's what I see in the next 2 years in my porky crystal ball. Oh.
We've got the Sky deal coming up for renewal, right? And your pal Bean has not done one interview since February, I don't think.
No, because
could be wrong. He's not done one interview, Russ. A lot of things are going on. Big things are going on behind the scenes, mate. But
massive things are going on behind the scenes, and they're all filling the nappies, mate, at Sky. They're all filling the nappies, and they're all jostling for position, and they're all stepping up and coming out with sexual gesture. They're all coming out with creepy. Look, there's a lot of bum licks in boxing. There's a lot of bum licking going on at the moment, led by Bellew and all the rest of the merry men, Coldwells, all them sort of people. They're all hovering around for crumbs because it all could be coming to an end, the Sky little shenanigans. So let's see where they are all then. Because let me tell you this, Calla Sowland's got no time for Eddie Hearn, none whatsoever. They may make out they have when they're together because they'll do business together because they're fetched up that way by their dads, but don't like each other. And Calla's got a long memory, and he will be looking at the situation now and he'll be thinking, well, when I get over here at Sky, he's going, and he's definitely going. That I've been told already. So get ready for some big shake-ups. It's going to be like that song in it, Shake It Up Tonight. You know that song in Scarface, Shake It Up, all right. There's going to be, that's what it needs, mate. That's what it needs. It needs to shake it up. I'd like to see Carl Froch involved along the line as a pundit because he's my pal and he speaks his mind. But I could see Carl probably working in America or working with some, I don't know, who's to say that Dazon won't be in for Carl? You don't know, do you? But he'll get headhunted because he tells it straight now. A lot of them on Sky, they don't. Look at Bellew. It's like Bellew's overkilling the bum licking, isn't it? You think he might be overkilling it too much and he might put his Senate cold? I don't know. I just think that he's overreaching to try and make his Sen relevant. There's a few people trying to make the Sen relevant. I noticed Gareth A. Davis is at it all the time trying to make his Sen relevant, but how? He never had a fight in his life. You know Gareth A. Davis? Do you know if he were in prison with me now? If I were in prison now, 50-year-old, I'd be really cheesed off, mate. You know him? If I saw him coming on wing as a newbie, I'd say, here, come here, you. You're going to mop my cell out every day, and this is how much I want sending to this address every week. That's what I'd do to him, mate, if I seen him in prison. Gareth A. Davis, I'd pimp him, mate. He'd be pimped. No messing about with him, mate. And that's even if I didn't know him. I said, look at him. He looks like what we got here. One here. He won't be doing them. Did you see them kicks he were doing on IFL where he were jumping up pretending to kick people in the head? Scissor kicks.
Oh,
Did you
buddy.
see that?
Oh, I see. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen a
He kicked
lot. I've
off
seen
Ross's
it.
head with a
I,
scissor
I,
kick or something.
I've seen it. I've seen more than I even let on and I care to remember. To be fair, because there's so much nonsense, and it's just too much in it, Russ. It's
Too
too
much.
much
Too much. You
nonsense.
know what? Every time I see him, right, let me tell you this. My mate works in media. He said, you want to see him, Ross, at these shows in America. All he does is hover around all the female fighters. That's all he does. Boxers, MMA, hovers around them, finding out where after parties and that. He's got to be the seediest man in the sport of combat sports. And he needs 3 months in prison on remand to think about what he's doing. Because he's got the potential to be on a serious charging, mate, looking at him. He's a desperate, seedy man. Aren't you, Gareth? I know you're watching. Come see me. Don't ever let me bump into you in old prison on remand, Gareth. You would have a nightmare of all nightmares.
Do you know what, though? Just to end it, I think we're at the stage now where it's crying out for fresh blood. Do you know
Fresh
what I mean?
blood, mate. Fresh meat.
Listen. The product has been watered down to where there's no water left in the basement, basically.
It's that bad, mate. Now it's shocking, mate. I mean, they're putting pay-per-views on now. Like, they put Chisora Parker as a pay-per-view on, right? They put their head in the sand and thought, God, how can we do this? And somebody's just said at a meeting, a board meeting, well, let's just do it anyway and just batter down the hatches and just take it on the chin. We know they're sat there, these people, right? They know it's wrong. But what they've done, they've all shot themselves in foot because everybody's had enough now, aren't they? I mean, I'm hearing Dylan White's didn't even do 220,000 buys. You know, when you're hitting them sort of numbers. Now, I remember Eddie Hearn saying not long ago, I'm not putting that pay-per-view on, it probably only does 400,000, it ain't enough. But now they're happy to take 200 and odds. They just want to get something out of the job, don't they? They've overkilled it that much that it's become the norm to these people. It's become the norm. And fans have voted with their feet, so I'm really pleased. And I'm quite proud if I've had a small, little, tiny 1% part in that. I feel quite good about myself because I don't like to see fans get ripped off. So all them people that watch it the next day and don't buy the pay-per-view or watch it on YouTube or on an illegal stream or an illegal whatever box on your tellies, well done, I say to them people, for making a stand. Because what's gone on is nothing short of scandalous. We had Vladimir Klitschko against Joshua. They did all the millions of buys and everybody were on a high, weren't they, 2017 April. That's 4 years ago. What have we had since then? They've not kicked on since then. If anything, it's regressed. Well, didn't they give the top up to his deal round about that time? It's regressed boxing. It's gone backwards. We had Froch Groves, 13 and 14. Then we had the Joshua era, which peaked in 17. Now it's gone downhill. What have we had since then? The wheeling out Dylan White and Chisora for pay-per-views. What's all that about? I'm even hearing Conor Benn's name being spoken to. If he wins this weekend, he's now a world contender. His words on his Instagram. Have you seen it? His words.
He's no world contender. He's a good up and coming fighter, mate. But I'm telling you now, right? I watched Virgil Ortiz the other week. Yeah, dispatched Maurice Hooker. Right, that is a world contender, right? And he's young. He's only 23. Jerome Ennis is on the weekends. What's Jerome Ennis? Yeah, kid from Philadelphia. He's only 23 or 24, 25. He's in against Lipinets in the weekend. Yeah, watch him. He's gonna stop. He'll probably stop Lipinets. He's a welterweight contender. Right. These are the people Conor Benn's gonna have to fight if he wants to get up there. And you tell me what you think when you see him at the weekend, because kids are frightening talent.
I don't want to hear anybody on Boxing Asylum coming out with any nonsense about Conor Benn's most improved, this and that. Who has he beaten to show us that he's improved? All they've got is snippets from interviews where he's saying he's living the life and this and that. He hasn't beat anybody yet. I don't want to hear about this Formella win. Please don't give me that, because Formella is not a win where you can say you're on the Conor Ben Hype train. I don't want to hear it. If he beats Vargas and knocks him out, yeah, then. Until then, keep your mouth shut on that asylum going on about Conor Ben. You being on Conor Ben Express train. Embarrassing from them lads on there about Conor Ben lately. Smido and Ozzy should hang their heads in shame, mate. 4 Mella, and all of a sudden they're on Express train. A year before he was having to rematch a journeyman one, piano or something, wasn't he? Come on, 18 months before, get a grip to yourselves. Jesus.
Right, so I will say this. I do think he has improved a lot, right? But he's no world contender yet.
How is he, man?
He's no world contender. He's no world contender yet.
He's got a name, that's it, like Campbell Hatton, and like I said, we've got Nazim Hamid's. 2 of his lads turning pro now, or one's turned pro and one's about to. What's all that about? We're going to have them coming out now. You know, coming out dancing to Back on the Renegade Master. What's that song Naz used to come out to? What's that song? He used to come out to this song, Naz. We're going to have Naz's kids coming out to that, like we've had Campbell Hatton coming out to Blue Moon in his Man City shorts. It's all gimmicks now, isn't it? And there's one man at fault, and that's Eddie Hills, the 4-0 Iceman from Billericay. Free by way of, you lying bastard. You had 2 skills bouts, so they don't even declare a fucking winner. So it makes me angry, mate. It makes me angry, but you've got to make palm of their hands, Eddie, Annie. So we just have to keep fighting the fight, don't we, Matt? Fighting the good fight.
To tell it how it is, mate. We pride ourselves on that. So
we do. Right, I'm going to get off. Listen,
thanks for having us on, mate. Good to speak to you. And we do this. We're April now. We do this again in either late April or May. Yeah, start of May. Yeah.
I'm trying to get everybody on. I've got a list here. It's trying to get through it all to get people. There's about 25 people I've had on now. I'm going to get round to everybody. People keep saying they want John back on it. John Asumo, is it? Asama? I forgot how to spell his name. London kid. There's another kid in Australia who came on that was dripping tap, Sean. I went to see him the other day. He's had a few personal problems, but we're going to get him on. So we're working around to everybody. Chris Ward, I haven't forgot you. Anybody I've forgot, I've got short-term memory loss. Need to take one of my tablets. But yeah, so all right then, Matt. Well, listen, you take care. Have a good day, cabby. And if you see the Stig in his taxi, tell him I said he's a weirdo.
Good, mate. Top man, Russ.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
All the best, bro.
Right then. Thank you for liking and subscribing, leaving a comment. I think that's about it, really, isn't it? I'm recording. I'll put this out on normal. I think we can always make up them other 9 members videos in next 3 weeks. I'll always put this out on members, or no, we'll put this out on normal once everybody can see it. All right, so have a good day. I'm going to get Ken from Ireland on now in next 29 minutes. So I think it's time to go get a shake. All right, peace out.